Hi, it's Alex from Fitter Body Ladies, and we are here again after a bit of a break, doing a podcast. And today I have with me a member of our Fitter Body Ladies Northampton gym. Her name is Alison. Alison, how long have you been a member?
Since before COVID. So what, about 5 years?
5 years.
Must be. Oh, God.
That's flown by, hasn't it? That's 5
absolutely.
years. Okay. And Alison is here today. We're going to have a chat about Alison's journey, not only in the gym and her weight loss, but also she's made some changes to her food and her health, as has been severely impacted by those changes in a positive way. And we're going to have a chat about that. So, if you are loving listening to our content, and I know there's been a bit of a break, please follow us on the podcast apps that you use. Sign up, subscribe, share this. Just make sure you share what we're doing, because we love to bring you great content. Okay, so Alison, you've been a member at Fit Body Ladies for 5 years. Let's go back. So prior to the 5 years, what was kind of going on health and fitness wise for you?
Right, okay. So there's a bit of a history going on here. So my history of health or ill health started when I was late teens with glandular fever, which I had twice. And then mid-20s, I nearly burnt out because I was in a quite high-pressured job, and I ended up with yuppie flu, or chronic fatigue syndrome, as it is now called.
Yeah.
And then about 8 years ago, I started to feel ill again, and I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And I didn't know what it was at the time, never heard of it, didn't know what it was.
And so for those that don't, fibromyalgia, explain a little bit about what the symptoms are, or what the doctors
well, at the
diagnosed
time,
fibromyalgia as.
I was 42 at the time, and a lot of the symptoms are very similar to the perimenopausal symptoms. So tiredness, like you'd be going all right during the day, and all of a sudden it's like someone's switched the switch off and pulled the plug out, and you just go flat, bang, gone, and you just want to go to sleep.
Okay.
And if you've got to carry on, then you try and hit things like caffeine and sugar to keep you going. Your ache, your pain, big thing with fibromyalgia is if you knock yourself, say you just accidentally knock your arm on the corner of a desk or something, it is extremely painful. So
and why is that?
It's to do with the muscles.
As in the nerve endings in the muscles.
Yeah, it's a neurological thing. And people who've got fibromyalgia really bad, if they knock their leg, say, that could put them in bed for 2 or 3 days.
Oh my God.
Not just a couple of hours, 2 or 3 days. I didn't have it that bad.
Okay.
I had it so that if I knocked myself, I'd be feeling really, really rough for about a day and a half. So wherever I was, I'd have to go home and go to bed.
Okay.
The consultant at General Hospital said to me it'd be a really good idea to exercise the muscles. Now, years ago, when I was in my 20s, I used to do a lot of exercise. I was pretty fit when I was at school, and my first boyfriend, and I lived down south at the time, was in for Mr. South. So him and his mate were always in the gym pumping iron.
Okay.
In the old days where there wasn't even any protein powders, it was like 16
Meat.
chickens, 3 pound of steak, 2 dozen eggs, and you had to throw the egg yolks away, which I used to cry at. But basically at that time, if I wanted to see him, I'd needed to go down the gym, and his mate that he used to spot with, his girlfriend went down. So I spent a lot of time in the gym. So I was really fit in my mid-20s. But then, things happen. You don't go anymore.
Life takes over.
So I thought, right, okay. So the neurologist said, right, you need to get fit. So I went to Nuffield at Sixfields to start off with.
Yeah.
And to tell you how ill I was, I couldn't walk up the whole flight of stairs in one go at Nuffield to go and go from, a look around.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is ridiculous. And but I went to see them there, and because they're a bit more like rehab type thing, and the swimming pool's all the same depth, I started off literally by walking up and down in the water, just to try and get some. But it wore me out. I'd do a length and I'd be wiped out.
Okay.
Absolutely wiped out.
So was fatigue your predominant symptom?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So how old were you when it started?
About 42.
Oh, yeah. So you're like thinking, I don't know whether, initially you're probably thinking menopause.
Yeah. Yeah. I hot flushes and all sorts, which probably was the perimenopause as well. I was probably having
but
two at the same time.
Okay,
but,
fine.
you know, hey ho. But I thought, well, this is no good. And my husband's older than me, and he was coming up to retirement. And I'm just thinking, oh, this is looking a bit bleak, isn't it? And then the consultant said, there is a fibromyalgia support group. Go along there, see what you can find out. So I went along, and there was about 30 people there, and some looked like me, as in looked like there was nothing wrong with them, to people on crutches, to people in wheelchairs. And before the meeting started, I had a little chat, and they were saying, oh, well, I'm on this painkiller, and I'm on that painkiller, and I'm on the sleeping tablet, and I'm taking this because they upset my stomach, so I'm on another antacid. And they were on like 8 tablets 4 times a day, and I'm like, this is not me. This is not me.
Okay.
And my husband, as I say, was coming up to retirement, and I thought he's worked hard all his life. It's our second marriage. And I don't want him to be my carer. That's not fair. He's worked hard.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I'm not going to get in a wheelchair, so what can I do about it? So then I started looking into food and nutrition.
Had anybody said to you, oh, maybe you should look at food and nutrition? You had kind of thought, well, actually, I'm going to...
Yeah, I didn't want to...
Because I think that's... Is it... Oh, what's she called? The Nutritiously Ella, is it, or something like that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I think she was. That's how I kind of knew.
Deliciously Ella.
Deliciously Ella, I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So she was the one person I kind of seen had used nutrition to make changes dramatically to her health. Well, the first person who was kind of commercially coming out and saying, if you change your food, you can do that. But I suppose at that time when you were going through it, there was nobody kind of saying anything.
No, but I had a saving grace. I had a little angel, as in one of my friend's son was a professional sportsman.
Okay.
And very close to the family. And I was speaking to him, and I said, I'm feeling like shit, basically, and I can't live life like this. I don't want Dave to be my carer.
Yeah.
And he said, I might be able to steer you in the right direction here. He said, this is the first I'd ever heard about this. He said that if your body is more alkaline than acid, you don't hold on to pain so much. So try and look into that. So I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, there's certain foods that make your body more alkaline and certain foods that make you more acid. He said, I'll send you down, and he did, but it's all online now, a table. And it was like one end was foods that make your body highly alkaline, moderately alkaline, mildly acid, moderately acid, and highly acid. And of course, like looking at this table, all the stuff that makes your body highly alkaline was stuff that perhaps vegans would eat and not much of, things like kale and barley grass and wheat grass and stuff like that. And then the highly acid one is all the stuff that I like. Sugar, red meat, caffeine, alcohol, like whatever, and all in between. So I rang him up and said, I ain't been eating kale, I hate kale. And I said, where'd you get wheatgrass from anyway? And he said, don't worry, he said, the sports world have come up with something. He said, they've taken all this kale and wheatgrass and stuff because they realise that even sports people don't want to eat kale for breakfast, dinner and tea. And they've freeze-dried it, ground it down, made it into a powder, and depends on what company you get, it's Super Greens or Power Greens, he said, but don't get any of the stuff that's flavoured pineapple or something like that. It's disgusting. So he said, just add a scoop to whatever. You can milkshakes, you can just have it in water, porridge, whatever. It don't taste of cabbage, but it turns everything bright green, like you're eating liquidised Kermit. So I thought, okay. All right, so I got this stuff. And he said, you can test where you're at with this. He said, because online you can get like the updated litmus paper that you would use in a chemistry lab when you was at school. Yeah. And he said, you just dip it in your wee first thing in the morning, and there'll be a chart coming with it. And he said, have a go.
So if you hold on to, if your body is more alkaline, it holds less pain. And if it's more acid, it holds more pain. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it came down, I think, from the Olympic team, I think, looked into it. I can't remember where he said initially. But anyway, But that's now filtered down into everyday people. So it doesn't matter whether you've got aches and pains from being at Fitter Body Lady.
Yeah.
Or whether you've got arthritis or rheumatism or anything. This definitely helps. So I started these powders.
Let's say you're somebody listening to this today and you're like, okay, I've got pain. I've got maybe not even fibromyalgia. I've got, some aches and pains, my joints, etc. I'm, in my late 40s, early 50s or whatever. Did you start with just taking that in addition to what you were already eating, or did you start changing the food?
Yeah, both
as well.
Both,
okay,
fine. So I knocked out
there you go, guys. So have
sugar.
a look. You can get it all. Did you say you can find those lists of foods online now?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and I think Holland and Barrett and other places do actually sell these super greens.
I like it. I put it in my protein shake. I love it. So, I love it. I have a mango flavour. So as much as he says they don't taste very nice, I like them. I can't remember what mine's called.
Is it Real? There's a company called
Real. Yeah, Real's one of them, isn't it?
RHEAL. Yeah.
All greens or something.
Yeah, there's loads
of them.
There's more out there now, but the testing strips, I think you can only still get them online.
Amazon
and they're
probably
about,
these days.
Yeah, £8 or £9 for 100. So that if you test every day, that's 100 days. So it's
3 months.
Nothing.
Oh, I might do that. I might just do a little bit of a test for a week and see what happens.
So when I looked at what I was eating, I realised I was eating a lot of sugar and stuff, which was all the highly acid stuff.
Okay.
But I also realised that lemons and limes, although they're acid, make your body alkaline. So just by adding slices of lemon and limes to your water, that will help bring that down to your alkaline levels as well. Oh. So everybody can do that. That's nice and
that's easy. And it makes your water taste nice. Yeah. If you don't like drinking water, people struggle, don't they? So it's a way of flavouring your water.
Do that. So that's where I started, and it took me about 3 weeks, and then the colours started to change, and that was good.
And how drastically did you change your food at that point? So, like at that point, obviously you can quite easily go, well, I'll cut the crap. I'll stop eating cake, and I'll stop eating biscuits and maybe sugary refined breads or things like that. But how drastically did you change to start to see that change in the wee?
Well, to start off with, like with anything, most people, you're really good for the first week, aren't you? And then after that, somebody says, "Oh, it's my birthday, have a bit of cake." Oh, okay, all right. Okay. Yeah,
it's like tracking food. People are brilliant for the first week. Well, probably 4 weeks, and then they go, "Oh, yeah, I know what I'm doing," and then it just slips.
It just slips. Yeah. But what amazed me was how much better I felt. So because I was feeling better, then that impacts. And then you think, right, well, and then I'd have a bit of cake, and then I'd feel crap again and think, no, why did I have that bit of cake? Because I know if I eat that cake, I'm going to feel rubbish. And I still eat a bit of cake today. But there was that big difference that I could see straight away. So what I was eating was, without a doubt, the number one thing to do. And then, of course, I saw your ad, and it's Fitter Body Ladies. Food, fitness and focus.
Yes,
and
that's
thought, now I was still going to Nuffield at the time.
Starting to feel any more energetic by this point?
Little bit energetic, but I preferred doing the classes than going to the gym because I think anybody who goes to the gym, you're all very, I can do this, and you have your little induction and you're off, and then after 3 weeks you think, go in one day and think, what am I doing here? I can't be bothered. I think I'll leave early, and then you go, you see. And this is where you guys win out 1,000% because you go and people talk to you. Number one. Yay! Now everybody's got their own little headphones on in their own little world. We all talk, and you're there for us. And every Wednesday is different. Every Thursday is different. Every Friday is different. You never think, oh, God, it's Monday today. We're going to be doing this, and this. Okay. Although probably there's burpees on a Monday. But, it's never
changed.
the same.
It changes.
Yeah. And
so at that point, what was your weight and how were you feeling when you were thinking?
Right. So at that point, I was about 16 and a half stone, and I realised that obviously the more weight I've got, the more impact it's having on the muscles. So although my eating was better, this is not helping. And that's when I came along to you guys. And
that must have been then. So 5 years ago, 2019.
Yeah. it must have been about that. Yeah, just before. And then I think I started in the November, and then in the January, that's when COVID hit, wasn't it? March, yeah.
March.
And then that's where I can't praise you enough, because you carried on, and we had the little podcast and live sessions online, and like fantastic. And it was almost easier for me during COVID, because I cooked everything from scratch mostly anyway. And since I started this alkaline acid thing, I definitely cooked everything from scratch.
Yeah.
Because this leads me on to the next thing that I found out. Anything that's got any rubbish in, colourings, preservatives, additives, flavourings, bicarbonate of soda even, rubbish.
Made
me feel completely rubbish. Honestly, it all. And then I noticed I had a bit of gluten sensitivity as well. So, but all of this stuff, if you read the back of a packet and it's got something that you think should be in a chemistry lab, do not have it.
Yeah.
Is my advice. Do not have it.
And that goes back. We did a podcast about ultra processed foods a while ago now. But that's what they say, is if you look at the back of a packet and you think, I don't know one of those ingredients, or I can't find that ingredient in my kitchen, shouldn't be having it.
It's not doing. I mean, our bodies haven't quite caught up yet, have they? With dealing with all this stuff.
No,
and where's it going to go? It's in your bloodstream. So it's going to go to all your internal organs. It's going to go to your muscles. It's going to go to your brain.
Yeah.
So, no, don't have it.
Don't eat crap.
So that was the second thing. So the first thing was...
So that's 2019, and then we have COVID. And at that point, nobody can do anything for at least 6 months. Nothing.
No.
Okay. And then what was the next change that you made?
So then I'll try and do your challenges.
Yeah.
I try. Because I think they're those little extra bits, and it's not as well, instead of going to your sessions, it's as well as going to the sessions. And that everything helps. And you did, Christian did a thing every day. We had a little saying, like a positive affirmation.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. And then you might have, we did the January Jeans Challenge a couple of times now, which was really good. But each one of those things thinks, right, let's get back on track, because you do slip every now and again. You do.
Life takes over. Life takes over. But then you then went and saw a nutritionist, is that right?
Yeah, I did.
That point.
Yeah.
Was that in COVID or?
No, that was... just towards the end of COVID, because I'd got so far better. I'd realised that food and being alkaline was best.
Yeah.
Avoiding the processed foods or the chemicals in the in stuff was best. But I felt I was only sort of like 80% there, and I needed to get a bit better even still.
Okay. So symptom-wise, had they started to kind of calm down quite substantially?
Yes. Yeah,
okay,
absolutely. So I went to see I didn't see her personally, but online, a functional medical practitioner.
Yeah.
So these are like doctors of nutrition, for want of a better thing, and there is a few in this country, and you have to pay privately, of course, but they can then link you through to have certain blood tests done or stool samples done or whatever, and see exactly what's going on.
Right.
So we were going down to the sort of the smaller end. Do I need a bit more zinc? Have I got too much potassium? And fine tuning.
Yeah. And how long did you kind of work with her for?
About a year.
And at the end of that year, where would you say, were you 100% better, or were you like?
Yeah, I'd say about 98%.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But she taught me other things as well, and and something that I learnt through COVID was how important good quality sleep was. Okay, and we're all really busy.
I'm really good at sleeping.
Yeah.
My sleeping, I've got a Whoop. I don't know if you've ever heard of Whoop. Whoop is basically a tracker, if anybody's watching. It doesn't give you a watch or anything, so it doesn't track your steps or anything like that. You can track activity, but it looks at your strain, your recovery, and your sleep basically. So it gives you like a strain score each day, like based on your sleep, how much strain can you put on your body so that you remain at an optimum level, so you're not too fatigued and things like that. But it has a sleep monitor, like it tracks your sleep. Honestly, I'm obsessed with it. I like, how much sleep have I got today? I can hit in half term. I was getting nearly 100%. As soon as the kids went back to school, about like it drops daily, literally like that, and then it gets to the weekend, it goes right back up again.
Yeah.
It drops down. I still manage to get around between 7 and 8 hours of sleep a day. I think sleep for me is the most important thing. Most important thing.
I know that I need about 8 to 9 hours sleep to function properly, which sounds quite a lot because some people can get away with 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But I need 8 to 9. And if I have less than that, especially over a few days, if I only have 7 or 8 for a few days, I really notice it again.
You feel it.
Yeah.
I'm all right with it's between 7 and 8 as long as I get that. See, that's the good thing on the Whoop. You can set a time. You can set it. You can say, right, I want to be awake by this time, and I want to make sure I've hit my peak recovery, or I don't want you to wake my alarm to go off until I've hit 100% or whatever. So it's actually quite a clever little tool that you can try and increase your sleep. My problem is I think I just naturally wake up at a certain time in the day now, especially in the week because the kids have got to go to school. But I like to be able to now look at what my pattern of sleep is over the week.
And when you get my age, you'll be waking up a couple of times.
To
go to the
I still need to go. Still need to do that as well now. Still need to do that now. Okay, so sleep became a really big factor for you then.
And another biggie, stress. Stress. It doesn't matter whether it's mental stress or whether it's physical stress. Stress doesn't help at all either.
Okay.
So if there's something going on with the family or whatever, as most people do, you start worrying and thinking about it. But you have to be very strict with yourself. You know, is this problem? Can I do anything to help it? If the answer's no, then you have to be strong and step away and say, no, I can't do anything. And then you think, if this is this problem, is there anything I can do to help? If the answer's yes, then do it. You know, but don't beat yourself up if you can't do anything to help.
Yeah, so control the things that you can control.
Yeah.
There's lots of things you can't control, so don't worry about those.
No.
Focus on the things that you can control.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what sort of things were you finding that was it particularly home things that were the most stressful things, or was it, physical stress that you were finding was causing?
Well, physical stress, I mean, 5 years at Fit to Body Ladies and I still ache. And sometimes I still have trouble getting up off the loo, especially after a leg session.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's as Christian says, you just get used to it.
You do. Yeah, you do. So by the end of that time with that nutritionist, where had your weight got to? So we're talking like 2.5 years?
Yeah, I'd gone down to just over 12 stone now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
that's
about 4 and a half stone. Well, 4.25.
And the thing is, you've done it just consistently and steady over the period. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
But you see, I have never ever stayed at any gym or any fitness thing as long as I've stayed at Fitter Bodies.
Oh, that's lovely to hear.
Yeah, no, never. You've got it. This
set up.
I
haven't paid her, honestly.
No, honestly, and I would if I won the lottery, and Alex knows this. If I won the lottery, I will build you a purpose-built gym.
Yes, fantastic.
Rather than having that warehouse with plenty of parking.
No leaking. No, that's great. But again, so now, what does your daily diet look like? So, firstly, the symptoms of fibromyalgia.
0. I haven't had any since about 6 years, probably. Well, no, it wouldn't have been that long. Since sort of COVID, yeah. So what's
3
that?
years?
3 years.
3 years, okay.
3 years, yeah.
Daily diet, what does that kind of look like then? Just to give...
Okay. Well, if I'm coming to Fitter Body Ladies, I can't eat anything before I come. I know that perhaps you should for energy, but I find that if I do,
if you've got enough energy, then
I want to vomit.
Yeah.
So naturally, I'm doing this
intermittent
fasting.
Yeah.
So then, when I come home, then I'll eat my breakfast,
which tends to be.
It can be fruit and yogurt, nothing low fat. It's all 100%
Greek,
natural, organic if possible, if I can afford it. So it's normally fruit and yogurt, or it could be porridge, or it could be overnight oats, that sort of thing. So I have that about 11:30 because I come in and have a shower because I'm at the 9:30 group, for those that don't know me, and have a shower, and then I start work at 12 o'clock. Then I have break about 2:30, and I'll have something light like a bit of soup. Again, I cook from scratch because I don't like any nasties in there. So, you know. And then work again, and then I have dinner about 6. And then sometimes when I finish work about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, I might have something to eat then. But again, it's only light.
Yeah. So dinner then, what sort of things do you cook for dinner? So give me an example. So for example, obviously the symptoms have gone in the fibromyalgia and you try to stay as alkaline as possible.
Yeah.
What sort of things do you cook then to give people an idea about what sort of dinners? So could you have pasta, or is that not? Is that a...
Yeah, but as long as it's gluten free, I find.
Okay.
I can eat a little bit of gluten, but I can't. I couldn't eat like Weetabix for breakfast and then lunch sandwich for tea and then pasta for dinner. That'll
kill you off.
Flare me right up.
Okay.
So and there's a lot of good gluten-free stuff out there.
The choice is so much better.
Yeah.
The choice is so much better.
So bolognese with the chickpea pasta, or tonight
where'd you get chickpea pasta from?
Lidl's.
Do you?
Yeah.
I love a chickpea.
Yeah, but it doesn't taste the chickpeas.
No, but I still love chickpeas though.
Or tonight I've got Moroccan chickpea stew, because I tend to find that sometimes I get a little bit constipated, so I look at having high fibre stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, Bran Flakes and All Bran, they don't do a gluten-free version of that yet.
Okay.
Or not that I found, so if anybody's heard of it, let me know. So I tend to eat more pulses and lentils, so soup tends to be lentil-based or something like that. But yeah, anything that anybody else
obviously
normally
meat and veg is fine. Meat and veg fine.
Fruit fine. Nuts fine. And then at weekends, sort of my indulgence, it might be a bit of popcorn or something that I pop in the microwave.
Okay.
So plain.
Alcohol.
I don't drink much anyway.
Yeah.
Because I just don't like it. Never have done.
Do you find any that are better for you or not? So like, would a glass, or do they say like these are alkaline ones and these are more acidic?
No, alcohol comes in like the acid category. Shame.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're looking nutrition on calorie wise, obviously the spirits are better.
Yeah, spirits are better for you.
And now that brings me to low calorie sodas now.
Come on then, yeah.
Diet Coke and stuff like that.
Awful.
So I've done a lot of research on this because I do like sweet stuff. So I went from eating sugar and cakes and biscuits to then drinking Diet Coke and Diet Lemonade. Because there's the sweet here. What I've found out, and I've listened to a lot of research from medical scientists and food scientists, it's no good. If you're going to have anything that's got sweetener in, it's Truvia or stevia. Yeah, because that is a plant that
don't
they
know
just
whether
process.
they do. They did do for a while a Coke Zero with stevia at a green label.
Did it? I haven't seen that.
But I don't know whether they have continued that.
No, I don't know. I haven't seen that. But in this country, they say that if you're going to drink Diet Coke and Diet Lemonade, then the best brands with the least rubbish in is Sainsbury's Own or Waitrose Own.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So if you need, and I'm not plugging Sainsbury's or Waitrose, I'm just trying to help people. So, but
I try to limit my like I try not to drink too. Like I used to be like a huge Diet Coke drinker. I'm not so much now. I did a detox once for like 30 days, and then really after that I haven't really I don't get the same. I love a coffee now. That's my problem with a sweetener in it. But I have stevia at home.
Yeah.
But again, not all of the coffee shops stock stevia. They just stock a sweetener.
No. So get yourself a little...
I know, I have got
thing.
that. But then it's remembering, like, if I haven't got my handbag with me.
Ah, right,
forgetful.
okay.
So rather than have stevia, the aspartame ones, should I put sugar in it?
Yeah, that's better.
That is better.
That is better.
I did think it was.
Or the other things like date syrup, rice syrup, maple syrup.
Coconut sugar.
Sugar is better,
sometimes.
but it's still on the highly acid.
Yeah, of course.
So you just got to be a little bit careful because the sweeteners do affect your pancreas the same way as sugar does. So, you just got to be a little
You've got to be a bit careful.
But if that's your treat, whereas I would go out perhaps occasionally, Costa Coffee, have a coffee and a cake, you see now. I think, well, I can't have the cake. I'll have a sweetener, a stevia or Truvia in my coffee, and that makes me feel as if I've had a treat.
That's it.
I know that sounds...
No. Look, again, it's the whole, like, what works for you. What works. Yeah, I mean, it's it's hard to get that balance right, because everybody wants a little treat, don't they, at times, so finding the right balance and the right treat for you is great. So now that's what your daily diet looks like. You've got no symptoms really of the fibromyalgia? No medication, nothing like that?
Oh no, didn't want to go down that route. I never wanted to do that route in the first place. I did to start off with. I had some painkillers and anti-inflammatories, but I just I've never been into taking.
Well, that is amazing. That is absolutely brilliant. And in 4 years, so you believe you diagnosed about when you were 40, in your 40s?
Yeah.
So 42. So how many years?
How old am I now? I've got to think now. I'm 62 now. So
that was
8 years ago. So that was
ago.
56 then, wasn't it?
Yeah, 56.
Yeah.
Okay. And in that time, you've managed to clear that up.
Yeah.
Just using food and nutrition and fitness. That is amazing. Well, hat off to you. Super excited. It's lovely for you to share your story, because I hope that there are other ladies who might have got... maybe, have got symptoms, and maybe they're at the moment thinking, how do I deal with it? But again, we're not doctors, so obviously make sure you do speak to your doctor about it. But from a lady who is sitting here having got rid of her symptoms and hopefully cured her fibromyalgia, I don't know, is it something that will sit in your body? Is it is it like a... like a glandular fever? That's kind of almost like a...
I think because people who get fibromyalgia tend to have had glandular fever or chronic fatigue syndrome in the past. So it must be something in there that's sort of like dormant in your body that sort of rears its ugly head. But I have been told that people that get these things, whether it be glandular fever and all that, are doers. They keep going. They're the ones that at school would be joining the clubs, or when they're working they'd be helping others, or do you know what I mean? They're the doers of the people that keep going and don't know how to slow down and take along the stress, and that's why you end up getting it. So you're too overactive. Because I come from a family, my mum and dad were quite religious, so it was all about helping everybody and helping the community and doing this, and even as a kid and as a teenager we were always helping people all the time.
How old were you when you had glandular fever? Can you remember? First time?
19.
Oh God.
And I was off...
see, I was young.
College.
I was like 12.
College.
11 and 12.
Was really young, isn't it?
Yeah, because I had a glandular fever, and then the following year I got scarlet fever.
Right, yeah.
So I was a sick kid, like had it all, whooping cough, measles, mumps, the whole lot. But actually, as an adult, I've been healthy.
Good.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. But again, I do think that being conscious about your food, your health and your fitness is something that sticks with you. It helps promote the longevity of your life and how you feel. God, I would hate to feel sluggish all the time. It'd be horrible. So as I said, look, obviously we're not doctors, but again, we've got somebody here who's been through it. They've used food and they've used nutrition and they've used their fitness to get themselves feeling well. So again, if you think you're struggling maybe with fibromyalgia symptoms, or you're just feeling a bit fatigued, have a look at your diet. Have a think about what's going on at home. Is there stress that's bothering you? Are you getting enough sleep? I know as we're in that menopause, it can be a little bit tougher sleep.
But if you try going more alkaline than acid, then your sleep gets better. So you get like a knock-on effect. So, even if you haven't got fibromyalgia or whatever, still look at
your diet.
Anyway.
Look at your diet. I'm going to go and look at that now when I get home. I'm going to see what there is and see what I'm eating.
And I'm happy to talk to anybody about it. If anybody wants to give me a buzz, or please pass on my number.
Yeah, will do.
I'll tell them exactly what I've done.
Fabulous. That'd be really helpful. I'm sure there are plenty of ladies who are listening that would absolutely love that. So thank you very much, Alison, for joining us today. It's great to have you as part of our podcast, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks to do another one. So thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.